Welcome to Unlocking Your Truth, another podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips.
Hey everybody, welcome to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. I'm Dr. Lesley Phillips, and for the next hour, I and Corey, hello Corey.
Hello Corey.
We're going to be talking to you about metaphysics and spirituality. And Unlocking Your Truth is a call-in show, and so we invite your calls. We invite you to join in. Our studio number is 604-504-7441, extension 4142. And you can call in and join in the topic of the day, or call in and get an intuitive insight on your most pressing life questions. So, last week we talked about time. And we're going to continue the theme a little bit this week because we are still going to talk about time. And we're actually going to talk about, in traditional Chinese medicine, there is a 24-hour body clock. And basically, the 24-hour day is divided into 12 two-hour intervals, and half of that time relates to a more inward movement of the energy, and half of it a more outward movement of the energy. Yin and yang, I guess. And so during sleep and the inward time, the idea is that the body is being restored, and then during some of the other times, they're sort of prime outward focus for energy. So I thought that would make an interesting topic. And, you know, the reason I thought of it is one of my students in my Unlocking Your Intuition course, a few of the students were having trouble sleeping, and they were all waking up at different times in the night. And one of the students, Stephanie, hi Stephanie if you're listening, said, well, have you heard about the Chinese body clock? And it was kind of interesting to look at what time in the night that people were waking up and what organ that related to. So I just thought we could talk about that. What do you think, Corey?
I think that's a great idea. But on the Asian continent, aren't there 26 hours in a day?
I've never heard that before.
Oh, well, I thought there were, because it gets so much more done there.
Yeah. Good one.
If we can have a half an hour less in Newfoundland, they can have 2 hours more in China, can't they not?
I guess. Did you know that China, even though it's such a massive continent, is all in the same time zone?
Yes, you mentioned that.
Yeah, there's no time zones in China. It's all one time. All right. So would you like to know, Corey, what time what is the time for the focus of the lungs?
7 a.m.
No. 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. in this Chinese organ body clock is lung time. And in that time, the toxic waste from your lungs becomes loosened. And it says that's why when you wake up sometimes you cough, because it's been lung time just before you're waking up, and your lungs are trying to expel the loosened weight. So if you're coughing in the morning, it indicates that your diet and lifestyle needs tweaking to reduce mucus and toxicity. Feeling ill at this time can be an indication of deep grief that must be dealt with, because that's kind of interesting because, of course, yes, on a metaphysical level, we do associate the lungs with being a common place to store grief and sadness. Oh, as Corrie coughs and yawns.
I'm sorry. that was your like suggestions.
Yeah, and then it says because the lungs are at their peak and early in the morning, it's a good time to do your exercise, your aerobic exercise, rather than later in the day.
So I presume that the 24-hour clock that we're talking about here has nothing to do with your work cycle. So if you work at nights, I presume the 24-hour clock just alters itself to those hours.
It's like we were saying last week that humans have got out of kilter with their natural cycles. So if you're working nights or you're working late at night, you're kind of out of kilter with the natural cycle of things. All right, so what do you think wakes up after the lungs between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m.?
The heart.
No. The
kidneys.
No.
Liver?
No.
Pancreas?
No. Large intestine.
Oh, okay.
The large intestine. And so... you should know that because it says that. It says that early in the morning is the time to honor the normal elimination function of the large intestine. And the morning is the most important time to drink lots of water and the worst time to have caffeine. That's exactly when I have caffeine. Because caffeine's a diuretic and takes water away from your colon to the kidneys and bladder. Oops. Gosh, I need to keep a copy of this and remind myself. Yeah, your body needs lots of water in the morning to keep up its repair and maintenance of the large intestine and colon. So if you're feeling bad when you just wake up, don't run for a cup of coffee, drink lots of water because it helps you not to get constipated, stops you from gaining weight, stops you from looking and feeling older, and improves your overall health. Wow. Who can argue with that?
You can.
All right, and then after that comes stomach time, breakfast time, stomach time, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And, by the way, on a sort of emotional level, the large intestine time is associated with being defensive and feeling stuck. Now, the stomach time, healthy eating or disgust and despair. And this is the time when the stomach starts to get hungry and you are encouraged, apparently, to eat a healthy, hearty breakfast so that you can produce good amounts of long-lasting energy. Eating larger meals of the day early delivers nourishment to the small intestine when it is strongest, and it aids absorption and assimilation. And issues during that time may mean that your stomach is too cold. So drink ginger tea, have warmer things rather than cold things. All right, then 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is the pancreas and the spleen, which can be associated with jealousy and low self-esteem. And apparently, traditional Chinese medicine considers the spleen is the most important digestive organ, so even a late breakfast will be digested easily. It says also that this is a time when allergies can show up the strongest because the spleen is busy working with the liver and your immune system. A healthy spleen produces antibodies when there's an infection and constantly watches the blood for invaders. So if you feel ill between 9 and 11 a.m., it can mean your spleen is deficient or you're worrying and having self-esteem issues.
Interesting.
Whenever I used to get, it doesn't happen anymore, but if I used to get acupressure, my spleen used to be really painful. But I think now I don't eat sugar anymore, and so I think it was the yeasties, Alrighty. So what now? What do you think's 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.?
The large intestine.
Well, we've done that already.
We did?
Mm.
The stomach.
No, now it's the heart.
Now it's the heart.
Now it is the heart.
It's the heart.
Yeah.
Ah!
Right, that's right. So don't overtax your heart. And it's common at that time to, or you might notice a rapid heartbeat, double beats, skipping beats during that time period. 70% of heart attacks occur between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. I thought there was more at night time.
I understood it was more in the morning.
Huh.
When you first get out of bed.
Huh.
Because you're relaxed, and then all of a sudden people jump out of bed and it taxes their heart.
Well, this says it's at lunchtime.
Mm.
Being full of joy and enthusiasm and restful makes the heart stronger, but if you're feeling sad and gloomy, it weakens the heart. Doing anything heat-inducing during this time is not good for optimal heart health. The heart has an aversion to heat.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But yet we're told we need to exercise.
But not at lunchtime, I guess. And then
that's McDonald's time.
Well, you know what? And a lot of people, business people run out at lunchtime and do some exercise, don't they, in their lunch break?
Mm-hmm.
And then next, going around on the body clock, at 1 to 3 is the small intestine. And that can be related to feeling insecure, vulnerable, gullible, and abandoned. And between 1 and 3 is you're more likely to have indigestion, pain, and bloating. And if you do, that's a problem with your small intestine. And it might relate to feelings of insecurity and self-doubt and abandonment.
Very interesting.
It is. Right now, 3 to 5 is the bladder. And you might feel like you want a nap. And salty foods strengthen the bladder, so drink a cup of miso soup between 3 and 5. Interesting. All right, kidney time, 5 to 7. Kidneys can be associated with fear and terror. And you could continue to want to have a nap. But when the kidneys are healthy and working properly, you'll feel energetic and not tired. They are aligned with the adrenals. Yes, the adrenal glands are positioned just on the top of the kidneys there. And this is the glands that produce cortisol that help us spring out of bed in the morning. So 5 to 7 a.m. is when kidney energy is weakest. And people with depleted kidney energy often have trouble waking up and starting the day. Yeah, because so kidneys are strongest from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So whatever 2-hour period that organ is strongest, the opposite side of the clock, so kidneys are strong 5 to 7 p.m., so they're their weakest at 5 to 7 a.m.
Oh, interesting. Does that hold true for all of them?
Yes. Yeah, it does. All right, and then next, 7 to 9, pericardium, circulation sex time is what it says. Don't know. The circulation. I don't know. Associated with the brain, including the pituitary and hypothalamus and the reproductive organs, not organisms. Socializing, flirting, or being unable to express your emotions. 7 to 9 is when you can have intense cravings for sweets or processed carbohydrates. That's true. And that's because the kidneys that regulate the pancreas, and if you consume sweets during that period, you might get lower back pain, which is a kidney symptom. The kidneys, bladder, and pancreas are all parts of the whole interrelated group, I guess. So if you need a nap early in the evening, it's your pancreas, as directed by your kidneys, pushing you out so it can do its repairs. Well, there you are. No eating sweet stuff in front of the telly at 7 to 9 p.m. at night.
Okay.
Now, 9 to 11, thyroid and adrenals that control your metabolism. Ooh, so you can relax and get chilled out. Or the opposite is when they're imbalanced, feel confused, paranoid, and hopeless. So between 9 and 11, the blood vessels go into repair mode. If you get headaches, feel tired or weak, the blood vessels are in heavy repair.
Cool.
And 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. gallbladder time.
Ooh.
So
Party.
this is for sleeping and regenerating. And if you have an imbalance in the gallbladder, it relates to bitterness and resentment. And following the gallbladder is the liver, 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., where you're really having deep rest and dreaming, and an imbalanced liver is anger and frustration and rage. So the liver and gallbladder spring into action between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. So if you have nights when you can't sleep at that time, it means that waste is not being processed by your liver, and it acts as an irritant to your body, causing insomnia and frayed nerves. Your brain won't stop, and you may deal with unresolved anger and grudges towards others while you are in your sleepless state. Huh.
Yuck.
Yuck. So, folks, if you've been listening to this, I hope you were able to sort of apply it to yourself and any sort of minor health issues that you have. It's kind of interesting to see, does that hold true for me? So if it did, phone us up and tell us.
Also, have you got it on your website somewhere? So that put a page on your website so people can access it? Or if they email you and you can
send them a link, yeah. You can find it very easily if you just, but I can do that, yeah. Yeah, sure. Email me, I'll send you. All right, so let's go to a break. And after the break, we will take your calls. And the number is 604-504-7441, extension 4142. Or you can email info@drlesleyphillips.com. And by the way, I'm looking for some new students for my Unlock Your Intuition course. The current group of students that I was talking about this evening, they've just finished. And they've seen some massive, massive shifts and progress. So if you want to write to me about that, if you might be interested in developing your intuition, you can write to info@drlesleyphillips.com.
And if you're calling in, we're at 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock every Tuesday, and that is Pacific time on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll be back in a flash. Hey, welcome back everyone to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. I'm Dr. Lesley Phillips in the studio with Corey, focusing on everything to do with metaphysics and spirituality. Today we took a journey into the traditional Chinese medicine body clock and learned what time of day our organs wake up and what time of day they go to sleep and have a rest. So that was pretty cool, pretty interesting. And now we're in that time of the show where we take your calls on 604-504-7441, extension 4142 at info@drlesleyphillips.com.
Oh, yeah, that's Pacific Standard Time, 7 to 8 on every Tuesday.
Yeah.
In the evening.
Yeah. I guess we need a question, Corey.
Yeah, okay. Well, just happens that I have one here. And this is from Barb, probably short for Barbara. And Barbara wants to know, I feel like I'm in love with two people at the same time. How do I choose?
All righty. How do you choose? So, in that case, I'm not going to choose for you by well, I could look at the energy, maybe I will, but I'll just say, all right, so then Barbara, tune in to your heart center and then hold each person in mind one at a time and notice where the strongest feeling is. So that's one thing. You can tune into your heart, and you can also use the neutrality of your intuition. So let me do that for you. Give me a second. Let's take a look at you and these two guys. One of them definitely looks like a better choice, and you haven't given me their names, so let's see. I'm seeing if you do that exercise and you tune into your heart, like I suggested, you will feel a stronger pull and a stronger connection and a stronger affinity with one over the other. So that's how I would choose, because I'm seeing the one where you'll feel the strongest pull is the one that looks like the better energetic match. And so one of them has more joyful energy, a warmer energy, a more welcoming energy, a lighter energy, and the other one has a more depressed energy and a more disinterested energy. They feel like they're not that engaged not as engaged in life or anything in their life, and not as enthusiastic about being in a relationship. So one of them is sort of full of joy, enthusiasm, and more positive. And that's the one that looks like a better match. And let's see what's confusing you. What's confusing you? It looks like the energy of the one whose energy is more depressed has a more familiar energy. And it looks like that men in your life in the past have been more like that, and men in the formative years of your life, which may be a father or a father figure and a grandfather, had a similar way of holding their energy. And it looks like that. So one of them represents what you're used to, and one of them represents breaking out of the limits of what you're used to. But like I said, the way that you can do it is just tune into your heart, and you will be able to feel which one. So we do have a caller, and I'm going to take that call. Bob, I hope that answers your question. So let's see who we've got calling in this evening. Hello, caller.
Hi there. I'm calling about my aura, and if there's anything you can tell about me.
Okay, sure. And what's your name?
Teresa.
All right. Hi, Teresa.
Hello again.
All right. So let's see. We've got about 10 minutes before we have to take a break. So I'm going to tune in and take a look. Give you a really quick aura reading. So just as an explanation to you and the listeners, your aura, your energy field, is made of layers of energy, interpenetrating layers of energy. And each layer emanates from an energy vortex called a chakra. The chakras are energy channels that channel your energy from your higher consciousness through your body, and they're channels for your higher information. So I'm going to look at 7 layers that emanate from the 7 chakras, starting with the first layer of your energy field. And I'm getting a kind of an orangey red vibration. There's actually two reds here. One is a darker red, and one is a clearer, lighter, more orangey red. And so it looks like you're working at, and this isn't a surprise, but you're working on the health of your physical body. This layer relates to physical reality, how you create your life in the physical world. So anything to do with what you create to do with, a job, career, money, and that sort of stuff can come up, but also your physical body. And so it looks like you're really working on clearing out old patterns of behavior from your physical body and clearing out foreign energy that isn't yours, energy that's been influencing you for a really long time, and replacing it with your own life force energy. I'm going to see if there's a symbol on this layer that will give us a bit more information. The symbol is the steering wheel. I don't remember what it's called, but the steering wheel of a boat. I can't remember what it's called, but that's the helm. Yeah, it's representing. It's like, who is steering the boat, and you're saying, I have to take the helm of my own boat. And so you're stepping up to the helm, and you're looking at the stars and using the stars to chart your course. So it represents a shift in being unconscious about what's going on within yourself to being conscious and actively taking control, and specifically with respect to your health. The second layer of your energy field emanates from your second chakra, and it relates to the emotions and sexuality. And I'm actually seeing an orange vibration here, and it's a light, bright vibration, but it's stronger on one side than the other. I'm going to look for a symbol. Oh, the symbol is a baby. I feel like it's you as a baby. It's wearing crocheted outfit. And got a soother in its mouth tight with a ribbon on it. Okay, so let's see. Well, so again, the idea is it's like focusing on your body, and it's almost like you're going back to the time when you were a baby, before you got all of this programming in your system anchored in. And it looks like you're doing that because you're wanting to reset the system. You're wanting to reset the system, and it's sort of like, well, what's the earliest memory I have when my energy was clear? Well, it's when I was a baby. Okay, and I am going to look at the third layer of your energy field. There's two vibrations, a yellow and a green. The green looks like a kind of nauseating green, though, so it's not a nice green. Again, it looks like energy that isn't yours that you're clearing off. It's sort of like vile. It's just vile. It's some of that family energy, sort of this vile vibrational frequency. And I'll look for a symbol. Well, the symbol is a pen. And it's sort of like, it represents, I'm going to start writing my own story now. So now I decide where my energy goes. So there's a theme developing here, and it's about you starting to take charge of your body and your life. I'm going to look at the fourth layer is red. This emanates from the heart chakra. It relates to oneness and affinity. And I'm looking for a symbol. The symbol is a diamond, and it's a precious diamond. And again, it's a symbol of you. It's like, I'm a precious diamond. I'm worthy. And I need I need to take care of myself. I need to recognize the preciousness of life and of myself. And so I'm seeing that you're really it looks like you're really starting to want to really own your space on this layer, and not be, it's that sort of like, and not give your heart away to just anybody, or not leave yourself open to just anybody, because not everybody is validating and helpful. So it's like, I don't need to listen to I don't need to open my heart to the ones who are going to be abusive. The fifth layer is green. And this is the communication layer. The symbol is, it's a bit like a treble clef. It's the symbol. The symbol is music, like a musical score. And it's the idea of singing from my own hymn sheet, my own score, my own song, and letting go of being afraid to own my own voice and express myself clearly. So it looks like you're clearing out some fear and past time energy on this layer. The sixth layer I'm seeing be pink. It relates to your clairvoyance. It emanates from your sixth chakra. And the symbol is like a radar. And it looks like you're sort of saying, you know what, I've had limited vision. I've had limited vision. I've only let myself see so much, and I really want to open up my vision and see much more clearly. So you're working on your affinity for your ability to have clarity. And finally, the seventh layer of your energy field, I'm getting a yellow vibration. This relates to knowingness and transmediumship. And a symbol is a gold watch. Like people get that for retirement. It's a gold watch. And what does that? Let me see. Well, the yellow is a really nice, joyous frequency. It represents hope and possibility of change. And the gold watch is it's sort of it feels like a merit award, sort of an encouragement, like you've done great so far and keep going. Now, we've got about a few minutes, 4 minutes left before we go to break, and maybe a bit longer. And so I know that Corey thought he might like to offer you some information about the quitting smoking. So I'm going to see if he's got something that he wants to share.
I always have something I want to share. Well, I have 4 things basically that will help you stop that nasty habit. And they're just opposite of what most people will tell you.
Okay.
I studied psychology for quite a long while, and also I've been doing healing for 15 to 20 years now as well. And one of the things I'll tell you that's a real secret that most people don't know is never quit smoking. Don't quit. Postpone. So when you're sitting in the theater, do you have to leave the theater and have a cigarette? Watching movie? No, you don't. So you can sit there for 2 hours and just without a cigarette. And you may think of one, right?
Right.
But you don't get up and leave. So you can postpone. So every time you want a cigarette, instead of saying, no, I can't have one, just say, well, I'll have one, but it'll be later. And every time that later, give it a time frame. Okay, I'll have one in 10 minutes. And then, because you can postpone it for 2 hours, apparently. Mm-hmm. Right? So 10 minutes or half an hour. And when that half hour rolls around, because now what you're doing is you're telling your mind, okay, no problem, we'll do that in 10 minutes or half an hour. And just keep doing that, keep postponing that cigarette. Because what happens is when psychologically, in your back mind, in your back office, in your brain, when you have to stop doing something and change that habit, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to do. To change a habit and just say, okay, that's it, I'm done. So by postponing, it makes it much easier. Oh, telephone's ringing. You want to grab it? I'll stay on here with her. Yeah. Of course, there would be a call when I was going to. Now, the other one, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. And then the second thing I'll tell you is when you get into a car, right? What's the first thing you do before you drive off? What's the first thing you do?
Seatbelt.
Seatbelt, right. If I took your seatbelt away, would that be uncomfortable for you? When you get into the car?
I think so.
Yeah,
I would always go to it, and that wouldn't be there.
Yeah, it would be kind of uncomfortable, wouldn't it? You don't have that. Well, cigarettes are the same thing. If you stop carrying cigarettes, this may sound the opposite of what you'd want to do, but if you stop carrying cigarettes, your mind's constantly looking for them.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So carry a few cigarettes in your purse or in your however you'd carry them. Now, don't carry a lighter or matches. Just carry the cigarettes. Your subconscious will say, "Oh, I have them. I'm okay. No problem."
Right.
Okay. Make sense?
Yes.
It makes sense, right? Okay.
Yes.
So those are two things. Now, the other thing is you need to do a mantra. And a mantra at least six times a day. And the mantra, take a couple of deep breaths, just like meditating. And then the mantra will be, "My body is a temple. I will put only good things into it. My body is a temple. I will put only good things in my body. It's a sacred temple. I will only put great things into it." Just do that for about 2 minutes, six times a day. And what will happen is it will clear your desire eventually, because choice, everything we do is a choice. And it's very difficult to give up certain choices, certain things that you're used to taking. And so what we need to do is replace that with something else. And when we replace that with good thoughts and happy thoughts, it helps. So if you do those things, I guarantee you that it'll help you.
Okay.
Okay.
I wish I had a pen on me, but I'll remember that.
Okay.
You can listen to
remember all that.
you can listen to the podcast.
Next week, yeah.
Right. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, both of you.
Oh,
You're
you're welcome.
All right.
I really appreciate it. Okay, bye.
Okay, so we are going to go to a break now, and after the break, we have another caller on the line, so she's waiting to be transferred, Corey. So, all right, we'll be back. Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. And we have another caller about to ask a question.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Lesley, Dr. Lesley. Hello.
Hello. How are you? I'm sorry, I don't know what happened there with the phone.
That's okay. That's okay. I figured it was a technical issue
Yeah.
there.
So how can we help you today?
Hello, this is Susie.
Hiya,
I
Susie.
haven't called you for a long, long time. So I
No.
thought, okay, I would give a call.
Great. And how are you?
Well, today I feel like I might have picked up a bug, like a virus, like a buggy thing. So I'm feeling a little tired. The reason I'm calling, though, is to do a check-in, because with my first chakra, second chakra, and also with that reproductive area, and also just general, I'm doing a lot of muscle testing and biokinesiology and work on myself. So I'm curious to see if there's any tips available.
All right, let's take a look. Just going to tune into you and see what I see. All right, I'm going to look specifically at the first and second chakras. What's the latest update with the medical situation?
There isn't really an update.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like there's some stuff to clear over the front of the first and second chakras. And it looks like some more past time energy.
Okay.
And it's funny, it's different than what I've seen when I've looked at you before. It looks like this is what the energy looks like. It's almost as though, imagine that you'd had an incision in your abdomen that was sort of a vertical incision going down the center of the abdomen, and there was scar tissue.
Like a cesarean.
Yeah, and there was scar tissue. Sort of, that's the image that I'm seeing, is like an energetic version of that, and it's past. So I'll just start to clear it out for you. And
does it look like a past life?
I think it might be a past life, yeah. Okay. I do, because I'm also sensing the idea of being pregnant. So let's take a look. Oh, I feel like it is a it looks like it's a past life death picture where I feel like it's from the Middle Ages, and you're in a female body, and you were pregnant, and in the birth experience, the child wasn't coming out through the birth canal. And it was one of those choices between the mother's life and the child's life. Or, they had to take drastic measures. And so it looks as though they cut you open to get the baby out, and it resulted in your passing away. And I'm just seeing. And it looks like, it's funny because it looks like they sewed you back up, even though, just because there was like a viewing of the body after death, so it was sort of sewn back up.
Oh, I see.
And because it looks like you were somebody like the wife of a wealthy merchant or something like that. I feel like it was in Italy, and it was a baby boy, and it looks like he actually did live, but you didn't. So let's see if there's anything else to say about that. It's just sort of like the ultimate sacrifice, and I'm just seeing it's a bit macabre, but I'm just seeing that your dead body looking really grey and, vacant of view. But it looks like you were laid out for viewing for, on a sort of a slab for people to come and say goodbye to you. And that's the image. So let's just see. And it looks like on a spiritual level, it's kind of interesting that there was an agreement between you and this child that you would be the mother, and then I'm seeing like the pair of you hanging around together in the aftermath of what had happened, as spirit, and so you were on your way out and he's on his way in, kind of thing. But let me just see what the relevance of this is to you right now. I guess the simple thing is that it's an association with something, going awry with that area of your body that was life-threatening. And in this case, so I'm just going to... So as I'm talking about it, it's not clearing. It's like almost like that life's coming up more strongly. And now I'm seeing it, I'm seeing some images of her life before she had the child, and it's sort of come up all over you, not just in that area now. So let's just help you present time it and see if we can get it to move into your past life aura. And I just... So there's something around the crown area that's coming up to look at with respect to this. So let me take a look. Well, it looks like she took every precaution. She looked after her body really well in her pregnancy. She did everything that everybody said that you should do to have a healthy pregnancy and a smooth a childbirth. It looks like it looks like some of the advice was about, what to eat and drink and put in your body, what herbal tonics to take. And it looks like there was a period of confinement where she rested and she did, needlecraft and things and didn't exert herself, and just looks like she really, really, really took care of herself, like consciously doing everything that she could, like you, and for her, it's still, when it came to the day, it still ended up the way that it ended up. So let's see why. Well, that seems to have enabled you to clear that past life out of the way. So that seemed to be the thing that we were meant to say. I'm not exactly sure what the exact point is, but just to say, like, she did everything and still. Okay, so let's see what else we can see. I just want to. It looks like, even though that past life memory is cleared out of your energy field, there's some pain coming up, and the pain is in your head, and it's the pain of, but the frustration of, like, I'm doing everything, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, I'm doing this, and I've tried this, and that whole idea of just really doing everything you can, and the frustration of why hasn't it cleared yet? Why hasn't it got the result that I want? Why are the doctors still telling me this? That whole story. It looks like there's a resonance with that lady in the past life, and so it looks like there's some pain around just all that you're doing and still, and that's coming up in the head. So let's see. And it looks like part of the core learning is that the body-spirit relationship. It's kind of interesting because it looks like spirit's judging body. Like, why won't you just toe the line and do what I want you to do? Let's see. Yeah. So, I don't know, it just looks like there's another layer of pain, and it's that frustration that I just talked about, so I'm giving you a hand to send that down your grounding. And now that I've done that, I'm going to have to go soon, by the way, because we have to give over to Johnny K now. Actually, now we do. But I was going to say your second chakra is now looking bright, and your first chakra is now looking bright. I'm seeing that you're putting a lot of attention still on healing them, and it just looks like you're just going through this process where layers of stuff come up to be cleared. And I apologize, but we do have to go.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for calling, though.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to another Unlocking Your Truth podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips. For more information, go to our website at drlesleyphillips.com. That's drlesleyphillips.com, where you can ask questions or send her an email, and there's many free gifts on there for you as well. Come back again.